Gotta turn my notifications off. I'm ready to rock.
I don't even know how to do that, but we're live right now. Yeah, what's up, Peter?
Dude, what's going on, Francis?
I'm doing awesome. Just love Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love.
Dude, how was the move, man?
It was freaking amazing. But yeah, what's up, guys? Self Made episode 11. How to make six figures right out of college. So I have my special guest with me, Peter Michael, and just some background information on Peter. Peter went to Temple, just a couple miles down the road, majored in finance, MIS. And what's really cool is he just came back from Miami, Florida, where he got to learn from the best in the business, Grant Cardone, net worth $100 million. And he set up an interview with Alexis Romano, got Grant interviewed on that channel, Network Marketing Moguls. What's really cool is Peter graduated. He has a top job from Ernst and Young. It's pretty much the dream job to get right out of college. I didn't even get a job there. I got denied, but it's all good. And two passive streams of income that he's working on outside of his job, and he's on pace to make $100,000 this year, first year out of college. How does that feel, Peter?
Dude, Francis, it feels amazing. First of all, I want to thank you for this opportunity to even be able to share my story. And I don't really want to make this so much about me, even though you're interviewing me. I want to give so much value within the next 20, 30 minutes, however long we have with you. And so everybody viewing this can really take something away, launch into immediate action, 10x, whatever they're doing to get them to the outcome that they deserve and desire.
Okay, so let's talk about how you got in contact with Grant Cardone. How did you even set that up? I'm assuming that you didn't know him at all going down to Miami. And it's pretty crazy because everyone sees him all over the web. How do you get to meet him, get to take a picture with him, and set that up with get Alexis Romano interviewed on Network Marketing Moguls?
Absolutely, Francis. So listen, I just want to make one thing clear. This wasn't like an overnight thing. I met and I started following Grant literally about 3 or 4 years ago when my buddy Vinny showed me this book, 10X, that at the time that we were building another business. And I read that book and I said, okay, here's basically the blueprint for the action that's required to make millions of dollars. And I started following him, all his podcasts, TV shows, read all his books. And then all of a sudden, I got this opportunity to really work hand to hand with my millionaire mentor, Alexis Romano. And I started asking her questions if she would be open to maybe doing some interviews. And all of a sudden, Grant launched this show, Network Marketing Moguls. And I said, listen, we have literally nothing to lose. Let me give it a go. I typed in grantcardone.com, went to the website, went to the contact us. Yes, I literally went to the website, went to the contact us page, got the phone number from there, and simply picked up the phone, smiled and dialed. I had a conversation with a gentleman by the name of Steve who picked up the phone, and I said, listen, Steve, how are you? How's your day? I got a phenomenal response. I encourage you to highly give the office a call. You will experience something you've never experienced before. And through the conversation, within the first 30 seconds, I simply asked him, I said, listen, Steve, the purpose of my call is I want to bring value to you, to Grant and your company. You guys just launched a new Network Marketing Mogul show. And I have a real power player who deserves to be on that show. I just kind of told him a little bit about Alexis. And at the time, it wasn't a good time, but I wasn't taking no for an answer. And they basically kind of just got brushed off a little bit, but I was
what did they say when they brushed you off?
So they said, we have a webinar coming out. The show isn't our priority right now. We're still building it. We're still in the process of developing it. Basically, like every possible excuse that you could tell somebody where you think they're kind of wasting your time, that I got, right? So I had this guy on the phone, and literally I almost felt like time stopped for just a second. And I was like, this is like my one and only chance to really bring the fire, to light him up, to inspire him, to know that I'm about business. And I said, listen, I want to just offer value, and we're here to kind of give back to your viewers, because I know Grant is very centered about his viewers, his customers, his reputation. And I did my literally, it wasn't even a 30-second pitch because I didn't even have 30 seconds. It was a 15-second condensed pitch. And at that time, I didn't even get a rock solid answer whether they're interested. I just got an email address. Cool, because it's a step that I was almost, a little bit further. And I got a little send the bio and we'll put it into consideration. So I said, I'm pretty good at following directions. I asked them what they need to see in the bio to kind of make it appealing to Grant. I got off the phone. I sent the bio within the 5 or 10 minutes. I drafted up a bio about Alexis, sent it to Steve. And then I picked up the phone as soon as I sent the bio and called Steve back. I was not taking no for an answer. I called Steve back to make sure he got the bio. He told me he'll check it out, give me an answer within the next 24 hours. And listen, this was I think this was Monday night. He told me he's going to check it out on Thursday. I said, listen, I can appreciate that. Thursday is kind of a very long time frame. What's a good time for you tomorrow? So I started setting up the next appointment with him. And literally, I made sure that when I woke up, he had a voicemail from me. He had a follow-up email from me. And I was so persistent that I was literally his first call. So this guy was either going to answer my email. He was going to either answer my voicemail. He was either calling me back. But I was just not taking no for an answer. And kind of fast forward things in a few steps. The way I got it on the show was I was persistent. I was relentless. And I followed up. It got even to the point that when Grant was doing the live webinar, I called him right after because I was tuning in. I've been following this guy for years now. I called him and I said, listen, Steve, when are we booking our flights for and our hotels? This guy didn't even tell me, yes, we're coming. I basically picked up the phone and I said, listen, Steve, when are we booking our flights and our hotels for? Because I know Alexis deserves to be on the show. We want to meet Grant. We want to give the value your readers haven't gotten. It's the industry is very male-driven, especially the people you have on the show. Let's get a female in there. Let's show a real power player and give people hope in the industry and how they're building it. And that's pretty much it. I was relentless, committed, persistent, wasn't taking no for an answer, and I was just following up till I was blue in the face. And I made a decision, and it all started with a decision and commitment because I texted Alexis as soon as I heard about the show, and I told her, listen, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get you on the show. It was that moment where it really started, the magic really started happening. My expectation was there. My follow-through was there, and I'll tell you what, when I met them yesterday and we were kicking it for, Grant is so packed that he doesn't have time to, just kind of hang out, right? Hang out. And he did because he saw so much value. We had such a great time. And then Steve said, listen, I've never had anybody follow up and follow through so relentlessly that's outside of our boiler room. And that's the material that they're looking for to get people who are serious because they have so many inquiries. They have so many people flooding the show left and right. Their screening process is challenging, but you got to be really about it and really make sure that you're committed to this decision that you're about to endure.
So basically, no one was just in there as much as you. No one was following up every single day, leaving voicemails. No one was Facebook messaging and just going back and forth, talking to them. Once you finally set up that interview with Grant, what was it like going up to his studio, finally meeting Grant and his whole crew?
Dude, so that's a really great question. Obviously, I wasn't getting the one interview, so I was lit on fire. I was excited. I knew exactly who Grant was. I knew what to expect. Well, a little bit, right? Because you never know what to expect when it comes to Grant. But we got there. The office. You walk in this building, and you take the elevator to the top floor. So that's when the excitement and all the nerves start kicking in. And literally 15, 20 minutes before that, I was watching him on Facebook doing a live Power Players interview with another CEO by the name of Andy Forcella from First Form. And I got excited because I've been following these guys for, months and years. And this was my time to really not only meet Grant, not only meet to Jared Grant, not only to meet Steve and experience the boiler room, but also network and meet another CEO from another company who's worldwide known, who does engagements all over the world, and is just growing a national brand that that people are just fired up about. So meeting them and going into the office, we were literally walking in almost on a meeting. Everybody's very kind of out in the open. It's a very collaborative environment. So I wasn't nervous. I was more excited. I couldn't wait. Literally, I walked in. The studio was right on the left. Grant was doing another interview, so I got to watch him in action live, kind of behind the scenes before we shot our own interview that's available, on my Facebook and being released within the next 2 weeks or so on the website itself.
That's awesome. And so you got to meet Grant Cardone. You get to meet Andy Forcella. What's it like kicking it with them? And most importantly, what separates their level of thinking from just the people that you're around, just average Joe out here in Philadelphia?
Absolutely. So there's no doubt what I think separates them is that they're very organized, they're very disciplined, and they're very present when you're with them, right? So when you're with them, you get them 100% focused on whatever they're doing. They're very down to earth. A lot of people think that these rich people or wealthy people that have net worths of millions of dollars kind of hiding themselves out. And literally, we walked in. Grant came up to me. I said, "What's up, Uncle G?" He came up to Alexis. He shook our hands. "It's really nice to have you guys here. I've been looking forward to this interview." I mean, I think he was almost like more excited than I was. And same thing with Andy. I got up. I was maybe a little bit nervous, but I was already walking in his direction. Came up. I shook his hand, and he was literally treating me like a normal human being, present. He wasn't thinking about the flight that he was about to catch within the next 45 minutes that he was running late for, because they just had such an amazing time shooting their interview. And I think those are the three things that really separate him, is that ability to be present, that ability to be really, like one of us. It doesn't make him any different. Just being organized, committed, and disciplined about execution, right? Taking the action and executing.
So now you've just had the opportunity to surround yourself with the greats in business. You start Temple University. What are your thoughts going through? Why did you pick your major, finance and MIS? What did you think you were going to achieve being in 9th grade?
Cool. So believe it or not, I actually started Temple and I was like a pre-med, and I wanted to do like physical therapy. I studied sports medicine for 4 years before that. And as soon as I learned the numbers that I'm going to be in school for the next 8 or 9 years because I would need a doctorate program and make $80K, that just didn't sit with me well. I love the college system. I support education 100%. But I also firmly believe in self-education, because that's really what I was passionate about. My mom had a business when she was younger. We were in Poland before we came over. I saw her do extremely well. I was brought up in that environment. And then I said, listen, something happened. It was like a little switch. And I didn't want to do pre-med anymore. I wanted to do something with business. I wanted to do finance, because that's like one of those things that you can make a lot of money. And I had the Wall Street dream that I quickly learned was literally not for me. And the reason it wasn't for me is because I'm very outgoing. I like to be in front of people. But then I had this passion for tech, like technology. And that's why I said MIS. Literally, it's like the perfect mix between both of them. I looked at the numbers. I looked at my career paths. And I was like, okay, this makes sense. There's a lot of upward mobility. There's a lot of demand. I'll make a big bucks when I get out of college, which wasn't necessarily true. But then when I was exploring my career path, I found an amazing company that I can start my career with in the accounting field. And I'm specifically doing like the IT auditing component. And I just kind of thought that was like my path, my passion. And that I really didn't have expectations when I was going through finance. I did okay in my classes. Don't get me wrong. I didn't do amazing, but I still had a pretty high GPA and did fairly well for myself. But I just didn't wake me up in the morning, Francis. It just wasn't what I really felt deep down inside that I wanted to do.
Got it. So, I mean, your junior year at Temple, you get an internship at like one of the dream firms as a college student, you're making just under $30 an hour. What would be your tip to Joe Smith watching this YouTube channel that they want to get that same internship too?
Cool. So if you want to get an internship, especially in college, start early. Just to kind of give you like a blueprint that I followed is I looked at my classes and I said, okay, let me stack them. And I actually took the introduction classes and I overloaded my course load. So then I had more time during my senior year to kind of not chill, but relax and have a little bit of breather and enjoy a little bit. So my freshman to sophomore year, I studied abroad. Like that was non-negotiable. I think it should be required for you to study abroad. You're just going to just broaden your horizons. You're going to learn so much. You're going to have a great time. You're going to meet people that you're going to be friends with for life. Like I still talk to the people that I studied abroad with. Then my sophomore year to junior year, I had another internship at the Federal Reserve Bank. And then I had in that same summer, because one of them started like late and went into the year to the fall semester. At the same time, I had another internship at a financial firm, like a local small financial firm, where I was able to learn the basics and figure out if finance was the right fit for me. And that's when I knew like, hey, this wasn't the right fit for me. I want to go more the MIS side, which is the Management Information Systems. Junior year, I interned at EY, Ernst and Young. And I got lit on fire. The culture is phenomenal. Environment is phenomenal. They're really focused on your education. They're really focused on building you to have you set a career path. Mentors, coaches, you name it, they have it. And, out of that came actually my full-time opportunity. And it was a no-brainer at the time. It was a right fit for me. And that's why I decided to really pursue it. And then senior year, I basically wasn't stressing out. I wasn't doing any interviews. I had a job lined up so I could really focus on building my nutritional cleansing business, explore other options, network with other people. And that's my biggest tip for, the Joe who's going through college. Start early, do an amazing job, always leave on good terms, never burn bridges, and make yourself unique. Whatever you have to do, make it unique, make yourself stand out. Even if it's something simple, as I always say when somebody asks me how am I said another day in paradise. Literally, I came back a year later and people still remember that phrase and they still remember my face because I went out of my way to offer more value and help other people who weren't directly maybe involved with me on my engagements, my projects, or within my internship.
Okay, so right now you're in an awesome position. You have a very, very high-paying job, and obviously you're hanging out with the best guys in business down in Miami. Andy Forcella, who's built First Form to a $120 million company. He's bringing home $10, $12 million a year. Grant Cardone, who made his fortune in real estate, he's worth $100 million. How do you go from having the top job out of college to essentially going to where Grant and Andy Forcella are, just based off your experience from hanging out with those guys?
Yeah, dude, based on my experience, it's actually really simple. You have your normal 9 to 5 commitment or whatever the hours may be, and you have to be self-motivated and inspired to actually take action outside of that, right? So a lot of people go to their job, they go through the motion, and then they go home, they eat, they plant themselves in front of a TV, and they're done for the day. Like, just to kind of show you the difference is this didn't come overnight, and I only have 24 hours in a day just like everybody else, but I wake up at 4, I hit the gym, I make my meals, I get to work before anybody else gets to work, then I work, and then I leave at a normal time that most people leave, but I already had a 4-hour head start on most people who I work with. And then when I get home, it doesn't stop there. I'm building my businesses in pockets of my time with dedicated blocks of time on my calendar by appointment, and I'm just really systematic. It's no brainer that the people that I'm learning from, they're systematic. They do very similar, if not the same stuff every day. Like, you look at my meals, Francis, my meals, I eat basically the same stuff. I drink the same shakes at the same times. And somebody says might be boring, but I said, listen, few months out of college, and I'm I'm interested in making a 6-figure income, and then I want to make a 7-figure income, and I'm making it happen within, was it like 7 or 8 months after graduation, which is, almost unheard of. And there's people who are actually going faster than me. I mean, look at you. You're doing amazing in our business as well, right? And you're very systematic. So some of those things that we really share, that, it's a pattern.
And from what I've seen, it's all about learning from people who just have achieved 10, 100 times more than myself and yourself. And that's how we get to overtake that learning curve. So I really like how you said you start your day off at 4 a.m. and you do the same shit every single day. So it's basically like on auto suggestion for you.
Yep.
What would you say the next step in growing your career and your business is?
So the next step, without a doubt, is being more flexible and being able to adapt, and then being more efficient with the time that I have. And the reason I say that is because we know that, like, you and I, Grant, Andy, Lex, you can't afford to have a bad day, right? Because a bad day is costing you a couple $100, a couple thousand, or, some people that are just making an awful lot of money, couple million. I only have bad moments. And is my life perfect? Am I doing everything the right way? No, I mess up constantly. But the difference is that I get over it very quickly. I have mini meltdowns, and then I get right back at it, and I just kind of keep going. So my next step is being even more flexible, because when something comes up that, like, I wasn't planning for, like, for example, we had this interview scheduled today. Dude, I got home yesterday super, super late. I ate something. I have been literally sick as a cat all day long, but it didn't matter to me. I had to adapt. I had to find a solution, and I had to bring the fire, the energy, and everything that your viewers deserve who are tuning in with us tonight, and especially for the replay. That just wasn't an option. Like, you just are solution oriented, and you find a way.
So most people, going with what you said about having a bad day, most people will go out and work a 9 to 5, and they'll sort of go hang out after that. What inspires you to get up for the gym at 4 a.m. and work until 9 or 10 or whenever you go to sleep?
So what inspires me, Francis, is really simple. Obviously, someone out there, if they're tuning in and they're following me on Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, whatever the platform is, they may relate with my story, and I might inspire something in them, and I might help them, motivate them to take the action for them to change their life. That's like the main component. The second component, without a doubt, is my family. Like, I want to make sure that my family can do whatever they want, whenever they want, with whoever they want. If they want to take a vacation in the middle of the year, unexpected, we can do that. If they want to make a donation to a charity of their choice, they can do that. Like, it's all about options. So what really inspires is me the ability to show others freedom, that it's possible, right? Because we go through the school system, and we're basically taught, go to work, do well, get your 401k, retire, and be comfortable. There's no such thing as being comfortable anymore. Like, what's comfortable? Like, you can barely, I would say, live or survive on like 40K. Poverty line's 23K, 23.7. And it's the times are changing. Everything is changing. And I think we're more connected than we have ever been. There's more opportunities that go unexploited than ever before. And I'm hoping there's somebody out there, because I don't need everybody watching this show to take the action or get inspired. I'm hoping there's only one person who I touch and leave a legacy with when I'm 10 feet underground, that said, because of me, they did something they didn't think they could do, and I inspired them to take action so they could change the circumstances for their family, and just pursue their dreams, right?
Yeah, so it's crazy because you see someone like Grant Cardone or someone doing big things that's out on YouTube, or Gary Vaynerchuk, and you don't think that it's possible, but all of a sudden when like one of your boys is doing something big, it's like, all right, well, if this idiot can do it, like, I can do it too. And that's what I love about inspiring people, because people in your circle know where you've came, and all of a sudden it's like you've achieved that, and it's like, wow, I can achieve the same exact thing. So, Peter, out of everything that you've done in your life, what would you say was the toughest thing that you've ever had to overcome, and how you did it, why you did it?
So definitely the toughest thing to overcome was making the decisions that would benefit me in the long run, that didn't give me the instant gratification right now, this moment when I launched my first business, right? I got a lot of opposition. A lot of people didn't believe in me. They didn't know what I was doing. Nobody really wanted to join me or hear me out or listen to my idea. And it was staying persistent and consistent enough to create enough action to then launch me into momentum, to then widen my circle of influence and affluence that more opportunities came out of. Because the interview with Grant, you're only seeing the glory. You're not seeing the story. You're not seeing the 3 or 4 years of hard work following this guy, knowing his material inside out, literally reading all of his books. They're on my table. And it's like one that's like those things. It's like staying consistent for long enough. And Francis, speaking of the books, if you're not first, you're last. This is the book that's going to fill your pipeline. Anybody watching this should pick it up. And I have my, well, not mine, it's going to be your copy, signed by the one and only Grant himself.
Hell yeah, dude. Thanks for the love.
So I got this just for you, and I know you're gonna love it. I know you read this book before. I saw them in your back seat, and dude, this is literally the least that I can do with all the mastermind alliance that we've had, all the persistency, consistency, the times you picked me up when I was feeling down, and vice versa. I mean, it's so important to have that mastermind for whoever is watching. Is find like-minded people who you can really vibe with, connect with us. You know, whether it's Francis or myself, like. You can do it. Like, take this away from you. So no matter how hard the times can be and get, you can do it.
I think that's the thing, and I got to thank you so much for that, Peter. Just the signed copy of Grant Cardone's book, like, it's literally going to go, it's going to get framed, and it's going to be freaking awesome. But, like, back when we first started and we first knew each other, I was literally driving, like, a Honda Civic, crank windows, no air condition. The paint
I remember that.
manual door locks, and it's like we're sitting here talking about when we're going to be making $100,000 a year, and like we're making $500 a month, and it's just like other people are laughing, but we know in our head that we're going to achieve it. Yeah. And it's like a couple of years later. I mean, this year, like it's like we're both going to do it. So just having that vision is crazy, and actually seeing it come into reality and giving up short term to gain long term, I think is so valuable.
Yep, exactly. And I'll tell you what, this last year wasn't easy. I mean, you know, I was kind of in a little bit of tough situation, you know, between the student loans and all the debt that I was in. I was probably roughly $80K underwater. And instead of focusing on the debt that I have plus the student loans, I'm not even going to disclose that because that's like double that. I'll be happy to say that within the last, 7-8 months, I'm completely debt free. And the way I was able to do it is I didn't focus on how much debt I have. I focused on the production, the execution, and how I could really make that journey a lot better for myself, my relationship. I have an extremely strong support system. From my girlfriend Alexandra to my mom, to my family, and they're really the ones responsible for the stuff that people don't see. When I'm breaking down, I'm crying. Like, yes, it happens. We're humans, right? And then you picking me up when I'm like, dude, I'm ready to throw in the towel, and I think that's what really separates it. And I remember those times when we weren't even making $500 a month.
You're making like $0, barely getting by.
You're like making $20 here and there. Now it's like I'm losing count. I think like 5 or 10 grand, and 6 figures is right around the corner. It's probably going to be happening at the end of this month. Like, realistically speaking, through all the different sources, right? I didn't stack my eggs all in one basket. I'm being consistent over multiple things, but I've mastered one before I moved on to the other. And it just continue growth. That's it.
Got it. Well, Peter, I got to thank you so much for taking the time out to do this interview. Dude, I will be right at the EY office at 8 in the morning, and I will be picking up that book.
Dude, let me know. I'll be there. I'll actually bring it with me, so it's yours. You know where it's at.
Appreciate it, my man. Much love. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Self-made. I'll catch you guys next week. Bye.
Peace.